Welcome to another episode of Hope at the End of the Tunnel. I am Joy West-Phalo with my co-host Juanita Woodson, and I am super excited. Of course, Hope at the End of the Tunnel is where we bring real stories with real moms with real life situations, and I'm gonna kick it to Juanita.
All right. So I am super excited. So I think that she is my cousin, y'all, because she has my maiden name. So we have Miss Andrea Harrison on with us. So she is the Chief Shine Officer. Super excited to learn a little bit more about her journey in motherhood. So, of course, we allow our guests to introduce themselves. We don't think that anybody can tell who we are better than them. So I'm going to kick it to you if you can share just a little bit about who you are, and then we're going to get into some Q&A.
Thank you, Juanita. Thank you, Joy. I'm so happy to be here. I love your name because one of the things that anybody knows about me is that I choose joy through all of my personal storms, whatever is going on. It's not easy to do, but it is a decision to make. And so, yes, I love your name. My name is Andrea Harrison. They know me as the Chief Shine Officer and Show Up Strategist. I am originally from New York City. I tell people that I just sleep in Florida, but mind you, I've been here for like 24 years. I am married to an amazing man who is God chose perfectly for me. And we have an amazing and a phenomenal daughter. And her name is Madison. And she will be 19 in a couple of weeks. And I don't know where all of the time went, but here we are. I have enjoyed motherhood, although it was almost snatched from me. And so I try my best to balance between being a wife, being a mother, an entrepreneur, and, until recently, a daughter. And so I am an author of the book Show Up and Shine. And it is not just a book, it is a movement. And it is my heart's desire for every woman, and a few brave men have read it as well, but it is my heart's desire for every woman to read my book because I have heard so many great things from people, testimonials, reviews on how it's impacted their life. And I know because I was that person that I wrote the book for. And I know that the things that I shared in there will change your life because you are a masterpiece. And guess what? You can be a work in progress at the same time.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to get into this icebreaker. Do you want to break the ice, Joy?
Sure. All right. So you're known as the Chief Shine Officer. Before we get into your story, tell us what's one thing that instantly brings you joy or makes you shine no matter what kind of day you're having.
When first of all, unless I'm mad at him from the night before, my husband, when I wake up in the morning and see him next to me. I'm joking. He's a really good man. He's a great man. But my daughter brings me joy. And outside of that, just the women that I get to be just to play a small part in their lives when I see them finally see what I see in them or what God sees in them, and that confidence that exudes, that brings me joy.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Before we get started, what part of Florida are you in?
I'm in the Tampa Bay area.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
Well, that goes along with your show up and shine then.
Right.
Like typically it's sunny in Florida, right?
Yes. Too hot.
Yes.
I stay indoors with the AC.
Yes, I love it. Okay, well, I'm excited to learn a little bit more about your motherhood journey. You did let us know that you recently became an author, right? So I'm excited to learn a little bit more about the journey of motherhood. So you've shared how your daughter inspired you to step into your purpose? Can you take us back to that moment when you realized motherhood was shaping your mission in a powerful way?
Definitely. Madison was definitely my inspiration when I watched her do something that was just absolutely amazing. She got the opportunity to photograph President Barack Obama at the United States of Women Summit. She was 9 years old. She waited for 2 years for that to happen. She let us know from the time she started her photography business at 7 years old. She let us know that there are certain tools that she needed. And before we went to Washington, D.C., she says, Mommy, I need a new camera. I need a new lens. She says, I need 2 different lenses because I don't know where they're going to have me standing in the room. If there's going to be 5,000 people there, I might be way in the back and I need a lens for that. Or I might be right up front and I might need a different lens for that. And so she knew exactly what she needed. And she made sure that we got it before we got on that plane. But watching her, this is something that she had said on many television news shows, talk shows, and the last time on a nationally syndicated show when they asked her, who would you like to photograph in the whole entire world? And she said, the president of the United States. And at the time, it was Barack Obama. And I thought to myself, like, how is this going to happen? I don't want her to, I know that disappointment is going to come in life, but this would be so big. She's still so young and she just believed in it. And I watched her determination. She made sure that I always used a hashtag on every single post. If it wasn't there, she was like, Mommy, you forgot to use the hashtag, which was at the time, Help Madison Meet POTUS, President of the United States. I still have people ask me, what does POTUS mean? I'm like, okay. But anyway, so just watching her the day of, she had the tools that she needed. She was determined to get the shot that she was looking to get, and nothing else mattered around her. In fact, there were so many other adult photographers that said, oh, that's so cute. And she said, no, I brought my mom here because she had a United States White House press pool media credentials. White House press pool media credentials. I was her guest. And she let the people know. And so many people kind of just treated her like this cute little girl. And she stood tall. Secret Service took her up to the front. They gave her a step stool to stand on, and she meant business. She snapped over 890 something pictures of the president. She got the perfect one that she was very happy with, and nothing stopped her. The negative Nancy's didn't stop her. She made sure she had the right tools, and she was focused and determined to do what she went there to do. That was all the inspiration that I needed. I said, if she can do this at now 9 years old, well, what am I doing with my life?
Your Madison sounds like my Jayla.
Ooh.
Oh, okay, Mug, I see it. No, seriously, but that speaks volume of you, Mom. That speaks a lot about you. Jayla was the very same way at 16 years old. She wrote on her vision board that she was gonna get between a 2018 and a 2020 Toyota Camry, XSE or SE, white with red leather seats. And yeah, that's what she wanted. And she was like, okay, Mom, that's what I'm gonna get. If you don't have, I have faith. You don't have to worry about it, but you don't have faith in me. And the Lord blessed her with a 2019 white SE Toyota Camry. Doesn't have the red seats or the sunroof, but it's close to it. And that's all that it takes. And that's just amazing to hear that story about Madison.
Yes.
And she was determined. And all it takes is determination and faith.
Yeah.
And look at that. Oh my God. That's amazing. But that speaks a lot about you, though. That means she's had to watch you or dad or somebody, speak a thing and believe it to see it through.
Well, it definitely takes a village, and
Mhm.
my husband and my mom. My mom lived with us from the day Madison was born. Well, actually, from the day I was pregnant, she lived with us. So it definitely takes a village, and I know that it was because of the three of us, and of course, there's aunts and there's uncles and cousins,
Right.
But yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Let's jump in. Okay. So many moms struggle with identity outside of parenting. How did you navigate rediscovering A- Andrea, the woman, not just the mom, when you began to transition from your paralegal career to entrepreneurship?
That's a great question. And I remember being told by at least two people in my life, don't lose yourself when you
Mm.
become a mother. Don't start to dress frumpy. Like, have you met me? What are you talking about? I'm not going to dress frumpy. But never to lose yourself. And I had to make a conscious effort to make sure that I did still focus on me. But my joy was my Madison. And she's such a bright, still very much a bright young lady. She's about to turn 19 now, but for a very long time she was my focus, because that was the miracle that we asked for and God gave it to me. And so I did focus a lot of my time and my efforts. I walked away from my paralegal career, because of the opportunities that she had received. And, I didn't I wanted to make sure that she was able to do these things. And that, at times that meant I had to homeschool her. And I wasn't interested in homeschooling. That just seemed like such a huge thing for me. But I did what I had to do to make sure that she could do what God called her to do, especially at that young age. And as she ventured into her teens, I started a different business than the one that I had at the time. After my 25 years of being a paralegal, I had done a lot of design work, and for events and weddings and stuff like that. I was on our local TV shows, sharing with them monthly for probably about a year and a half with their viewers how to decorate your table for the different holidays. We did it for football, the big game. We did it for different holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, things like that. And I saw when the shift came, because now I was getting more of the attention, and she was kind of focusing back on school. And then I started another business, and I kind of just threw myself into that, because I knew that it was, first of all, I absolutely loved what I was doing. And I knew that a lot of other women would love it too. And I knew that I was called to empower women. And so I used that business to allow me to reach women, to be able to empower and inspire and train and coach and do all those things. So that was the beginning, of that's kind of like the there was a pivot there that happened to get me to where I am now. But it was as she was going into her teen years and me starting my second business. And I talk about a lot of this in my book, Show Up and Shine, that I have right here with me. But yeah, she was my inspiration, and I just needed to make the choice to take one foot and put it in front of the other, and trust that God was with me, and that, together there's nothing we can't achieve.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. So when we talk about, right, showing up and shining, so for a mom who may feel dimmed by life's demands, what does that first step of showing up look like?
First, I think you really have to You have to believe that you are worth it. You have to believe that you are worth it. You have to believe that you can be a mom and you can be who God called you to be. You don't have to sacrifice your entire self. You know, you don't have to be a martyr for motherhood. At least that's how I look at it. Because, you know, you want your child to see you doing the things that you love, because how else will they know that it's okay to pursue their dreams? You know, it wasn't until I started my event decor business that my daughter said, if mommy can start a business, she was 7. She said, if mommy can start a business, then I know I could start a business. And that's exactly what she did. So I had to continue to be me. I had to continue to chase my dreams, my goals. She had to see me, you know, go out. And not that I was out all the time, because I wasn't, but, you know, there were times when I did have to do an event. I would take her with me. My husband and I, we would all 3 of us would do it together. She knows what that looks like. We have to model that for them.
Mhm. Yes, I love this. So you've gone from corporate life to event design, networking, marketing, authorship, and ministries. What lessons has God taught you about purpose evolving through each season?
Be obedient and stop
Oh,
being hard headed.
that's it. That's it. Just like that.
You know,
Period.
when I was going live showing my product, at my first the business that I had after I finished with my event decor, and I was showing my product live on social media, I would use that as an opportunity to encourage, to inspire, to put in a good word for God. And God was looking for more from me. He wanted me to do it just for him over here on the side this way, you know, and he wanted it done at this specific time. And I was like, but I'm doing it over here. And I already got an audience. And I, you know, we're already doing something here. We're having fun. And what I realized is that I told him no for many years. I didn't want to do it because it felt like starting over. And what we don't realize is that a lot of times we're not starting over. We're starting from scratch. We're not starting from scratch. We're starting from experience.
Mm.
We're not starting from scratch. We're starting from experience. We know what we've done. We know where we've been. And now we know how to do things differently. And God wanted me to focus solely on him because he knew where he was taking me. He knew what he had in store for me. He knew the book was coming. He knew the speaking engagements and the podcasts and the women were coming. And he knew that I couldn't just do it over here in this, you know, small space. And so there was more that he wanted from me. And I had to pivot. And it came through being obedient. And so I remember for a long time, he was after me to go live every morning at 10 a.m. and, you know, share my heart. And I was so used to doing it with the built-in audience that I had. And, you know, using my product as something more like, you know, if I got nervous or I didn't know what else to say, or, you know, I was like, okay, I'm done talking now. I could just go right back to, you know, showing my product. And God wanted me to trust him. And that's exactly what it's been for me. It's been a trust thing to know, because I didn't feel that I was worthy enough to just talk and not do anything else, but just talk. Although I've always wanted to have my own talk show. And I'm not afraid of talking. I'm not shy by any stretch of the imagination. But to me, just talking and not having anything else was intimidating. And I remember the first day that I went live, I told the people, I don't know if I'm coming back tomorrow. So you're just going to have to come back and see. Because I really didn't think that I could do it. But I had to trust him. And I learned to trust in his word. Psalms 81:10 says, when when I open my mouth, he's going to fill it with good things. And that was the verse that I stood on every single day.
This is good. I really love this. Yes.
Huh.
So I know for a lot of moms, right, one of the things that often keeps women stuck from doing anything from that obedience factor is not knowing how to balance all the things, right? So what does that look like for you? Right? Because you've worn many different hats. You've worn the leadership hat, being in business and motherhood. What does that look like for you? And what's some advice that you can give for a mom who maybe feels stuck in that area?
I'm not one of those moms who had it all together and, made the lunches the night before and cut out the sandwiches like a little flower. I mean, I have my own little thing that I did because I am a creative. I didn't have a schedule posted to the refrigerator. In our house, it was like, what? You don't watch it was more of on the fly for me. And I think that had a lot to do with my ADHD, certified, not, making a joke about it. And I think you have to find your own rhythm. You have to find your own rhythm. You can't look at other moms and see what they do and want to be like them if that's just not who you are, because it's going to steal all your joy and it's going to make you feel like a failure. And so, balance, what is balance? Like, really, what is it? Especially when you have a family, when you have kids. My goodness, I have one kid. What about women who have 3, 4, 5 kids? What is balance? So I think the answer to it all, and this is from a faith perspective, is that you really have to trust in God and trust that, you ask him to help you to plan each day and to help you to, get through it, and whatever happens, come what may, and that's what I did. I had my mom. I'm grateful for that. I know not everybody has a built-in grandmother, a built-in babysitter. I had my husband, and so I guess we would kind of balance it out, in a sense. And I know not everybody has a partner. And so I would say God is your best friend. He is your best friend. And I know that when I call on him, he has never, ever, ever, ever failed me. He's never let me down. And so, we are to put all our trust in him. We are to lay our cares at his feet. And why can't that be motherhood? Why can't that be, our daily chores, assignments, tasks, whatever the case may be?
Yes. Listen, because I want to just say, because somebody listening may say, well, I am trying to find that balance. I am trying to juggle all the things, right? I need to find it. And it looks different for everybody. So comparison is the thief of joy. So you cannot compare.
No.
You can't compare what we have. I can't compare my load to Joy's load or to Andrea's load. You honestly cannot. You have to look around and you have to find your village, whatever that may look like. Everybody's situation is different. But you have to cast your care to
Right.
and you have to go before him and you have to ask God daily.
Yeah.
He cares about even the smallest things, right?
Right.
He cares about how you part your hair. Like he literally cares about those small things, those minute things that we honestly think that he doesn't care about. And I mean, it's attainable, right?
And you have to give yourself grace.
And give yourself
You have to give yourself grace. And I'm telling you, we cannot appear perfect in front of our kids. What are we teaching them if
Right.
we appear perfect, like we got everything going on? We have to show them what real life looks like. And
Mhm.
struggles happen. Struggles, you got to get through it. Disappointments are going to come. And so you got to give yourself grace and you teach them along the way. I remember I was getting ready to go to law school when I found out I was pregnant, because the doctors told us we would never be able to have a baby. And if I had gotten pregnant, we would lose the baby at 5 months. And I remember once Madison did come along, I was taking some classes and I had a law book this thick that I had been reading for class. And Madison at the time now was 2 years old. And guess who was sitting on the bed, and guess who I was reading that book to? I was reading it to her. I was teaching her. I'm a very visual learner. I'm very hands-on, and that's the way I learn best. And so I believe that it's best to teach somebody that helps it kind of, to stick for you.
Mhm.
And that's what I did with my daughter. And so like she's been a part of anything and everything that I've done. And so that shows her that she picked up on a lot of things over the
Mhm.
years. And so we get so like rigid with ourselves and tense, and God just wants us to relax in him. Say, listen, you got this and I got you. And
That's right.
take your child along the way, show them. If you ask Madison now how to spell corporation, this is what she'll say: CORPORATION, because that's how I taught it to her. It's and that's just a small example. Give yourself grace. Like Juanita said, lean on him, cast
Mhm.
all your cares at his feet, because he really does care. And just know that you and God got this, and it doesn't have to look like somebody else's household, because that's not your story.
This has been really good. I've enjoyed every minute of it. Just your transparency with the whole thing. So, you've often reminded women to shine for God's glory. What's a moment when you personally had to choose to shine, even when it was hard? Even on those rainy days, you chose to shine.
Well, after about a year of going live every single weekday, sharing God's heart, finally on track, I was obedient and I was doing what God called me to do. I remember a particular morning that I did not want to go live. I was not feeling it at all. And I tell my husband all the time, I'm not a light switch. So I can't turn it on and shut it off.
Mm.
And I think we had words, and we don't cuss at each other or anything like that. I'm I feel bad for him. I'm strong-willed. And when we talk about things, sometimes it could get a little heated. And he's very tender, loving, and I can't shut it off. I can't shut it off. And so I need time. But this happened at like 5 minutes before I had to go live. And I didn't want to go live, but I made a commitment to go live. And I made a commitment not just to God, I made the commitment to myself, but I also made it to the women that follow me, the women that show up every day. And I said, what would I be teaching them? What would I be saying to them if I don't show up because I got an attitude or I'm upset? What would I be saying to them?
Mm.
And so, as much as I didn't want to do it, I did not want to shine. I did it anyway. And I was live for all of like 5 minutes. I went on. At the time, I was reading a devotional. I read the devotional and I was like, that's all I got. I don't think I smiled. I think I just got on, did what I had to do. And I told them, I said, I really don't feel like being here today. I am not in a good space today, but I wanted you to see what it looks like to show up even when you don't want to. And I remember also, and let me say this, I had so many messages from women that said, you taught us what it looks like. You showed us what it looks like to show up even when you don't feel like it. And I thought it was like the worst live. I thought it was like the worst show ever, and the name of my show is Shine with Andrea. And I'm just like, you know, but they said I taught them a big lesson. And I remember the morning that my mom had passed. They called me from the hospital at 8:38 in the morning and told me that, it seems like everything, her body is shutting down. Her breathing was labored. And there wasn't enough time for me to go there, to get there. And so I told them, I said, put her on the phone, put the phone next to her. And she couldn't talk at the time or anything like that. But I know that hearing is the last thing to go. And so they put the phone to her ear. I said, just leave it there. Go do whatever it is that you have to do. At this point, she was in ICU, or there was like a step above ICU, and hospice had already, been in play. And she was sick in the hospital for 4 months and suffered severely. And it was really just the worst time for her, for us. And I didn't want her to go. I had faith. I knew God was going to heal her. I knew God was going to heal her. And earlier that morning, God gave me a word, and I was prepared, and I had notes, and I was prepared. And then at 8:38, remember, I go live at 10. At 8:38, I got this call, and call me crazy, but I said, I had her on the phone with me. I prayed as hard as I could pray. I prayed to the God of Lazarus to wake her up from bring her back. Because now I was on the phone with her for 20 minutes. 20 minutes I was on the phone. And the nurse came and said, she's gone, Andrea, she's gone. And I kept praying. And I kept praying. I kept praying. And then at 9:58 was when she, they told me she passed. I had 2 minutes to make a decision. And I literally looked up at God. This is why I say, as mothers, we have to have a relationship with him. I don't know how mothers do it without. Because I literally looked up just like this, and I said, bruh, what you want me to do with this? Because you gave me a word, and now you took my mother. What am I supposed to say now? And when I tell you, all I heard was obedience. And I shared, people say I preached. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a Bible scholar. I'm not a pastor. I'm just a girl from the Bronx who wants to make God proud. But they said I preached my heart out, and I know that I did. And the phone was open the entire time. I said, Mommy, we shining together. And what God gave me, it touched so many people. And the way God allowed me to shift it, that I still spoke on the same things that he gave me, but it spoke to the people that were there. And that was the second time that I didn't really want to go live. I just found out my mother passed, but I did it anyway. And the flip side of that is that sometimes we also have to know when to stop. And I had to realize that, because I tried to keep things normal. I tried to get people to come in and speak on my show because I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it anymore. And so I was trying to, make arrangements and everything. And my best friend said, Andrea, she said, stop. She said, you just lost your best friend, your everything. She said, you can't it's not business as usual. You got to stop. And you have to really, because I don't know if it was the fact that, I was with her the day before and I saw the condition that she was in, but I don't know if it was the fact that I wasn't there, I didn't see it happen, that I just kept going okay, I'm gonna pick her up from the hospital at some point. But I had to, there's a time, the Bible says it, right? There's a time to show up and there's a time to sit down.
Yeah. Oof. Listen, because I think that there were 2 times, right, that you had to show up and go live.
Mm.
And it's almost like that first time the Lord was preparing you for the second time
I never thought about that, Juanita.
And as moms, I don't think that we often realize. And when the first time you said it's like, oh, and you showed up and you didn't have a smile on your face, and you show those women how to show up anyway. And as moms, we do that sometimes every single day, and we show up, and sometimes we cook dinner, right? And we don't do it with a smile on our face. And we maybe do the drop off at school because you missed the bus, and we don't do it with a smile on our face, and we show up anyway, right? And
We go to work
we go to work, and
because we have to do it.
because we have to do it. And
Mhm.
when you started the show, you said, I love the name Joy because it teaches me, like, I just got the joy no matter what. And I think that for me, the takeaway, right, is I show up anyway. But Lord, help me to find that joy deep down in my soul, that no matter what, no matter how I show up, help me to find that ounce of joy,
Yeah.
that ounce of joy to put a smile on. Because you know what? That second time that you had to show up, you preached that thing.
Mhm.
And that was probably the hardest time, the hardest time. And you did so, like, and it just all just as you were talking, it just came back full circle, because that was the moment you could have just said, no, I'm not. Just
Yeah.
it's just
Right.
the way that you just broke that down. It just all, like, the Lord just revealed it to me in that moment. Like, if you
Wow.
can show up and you can go live in that moment, help us to find the joy of the Lord as moms in those hard times that we have to show up and serve our children and be good stewards in those moments, right?
Wow.
And God had already given you the word
Yeah.
that morning. And
Mhm.
I'm sure whatever the word was, if you sit back and realize, it probably helped you get through
Yeah.
that very day. And you had to give the word so it could keep you grounded
Yeah.
and keep you okay for the
Yeah.
rest of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And probably to this day,
And
if
to
you
this
go
day,
back,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, God, I see why you woke me up and gave me that word, because you already knew at 9:50, at 8:38 when they called you, and at 9:58, 2 minutes before, God is still good, always,
and he is still good always.
always.
Listen, and schedule rest, right? It's funny because I told Joy today, and make sure you continue to rest.
You did.
Because in the busyness of life, we as moms, as entrepreneurs, we have a tendency to just go, go, go. But
Mhm.
like, it's okay to, it doesn't have to be business as usual. It does include rest
It does.
Yes.
in order to show up and shine in the best way possible, and to be able to show up in our homes, which is our first ministry, right? Rest is important. So make sure when you planning out your week as moms, make sure that you add rest in there. You do not have to have every single second of the day filled with responding to text messages, responding to emails, having a meeting schedule. Give yourself time to breathe and rest, and have time to hear from God and decompress, right? Give
Yeah.
yourself time to rest. This has been great, y'all. This has been so good. So, how can we connect with you on social media and order your book? I know you do many great things, so we want to make sure that we can stay connected with you.
My website, shinewithandrea.com. And I welcome any moms, anybody out there listening that anything I said resonated with you, is to get shined up. And you can go to shinewithandrea.com/shine up. And I got some gifts for you on how to show up and shine, whether you want to do it live, or going live, or whether that's not your thing, but you still want to find a way to shine, to show up. And I also have some show up declarations that once you go to shinewithandrea.com/shine up, once you get shined up, you'll get some declarations, some show up and shine declarations as well. But I'm on TikTok and Facebook and YouTube as Shine with Andrea. And Instagram, I'm on there as Show Up and Shine book, because somebody has Shine with Andrea.
I love it. I would
That's
definitely
what
be
you got to
connecting
do.
with
That's
you.
what you got to do. You got to choose joy, and you got to
That's
move on from there, and just, you got to flip the script, right? So all right, fine. I can't do Shine with Andrea. I can't be mad forever. So just go and do Show Up and Shine book.
that's right. That's right.
Right?
Okay, so we always end our episode with, what does hope at the end of the tunnel mean to you?
Hmm. Looking back over the past 19 years of motherhood, hope at the end of the tunnel is God has given us everything that we need along the way, regardless of the fact if we think we need it or not, or it's not exactly what we asked, or it's not packaged the way that we wanted it to be packaged. God gave us exactly what we needed for the course. And I could not have asked for a better husband. My husband is not one that I ever have to go looking for. He is a family man, and he is down with all my shenanigans, and he is the best father ever. And so hope at the end of the tunnel for me just looks like he's given me what I need to be the woman that he called me to be the mother, the wife, to be everything that he's called me to be. And that with him, all things are possible. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. When I feel discouraged, the hope is in Jesus. And so that's why I can choose joy. That's why I can choose joy, is that, and this thing, it doesn't happen overnight. It happens every night.
That's right.
On your knees. It happens by you giving it over to God, by you believing that you're worth it, by you believing that you're good enough. And it took me a while to get to that place. And I know a lot of us struggle, with, am I really good enough? Do I really deserve it? Am I worthy? And there's sometimes things in our lives that happen that cause us to hide. But hope at the end of the tunnel is knowing that it's not just that Jesus is standing there waiting for me, it's that he's walked the entire tunnel with me. And
Yes.
the times when there was maybe puddles of water on the ground, he didn't want me to get my feet wet. So he picked me up and he held me and he carried me. So that's what hope at the end of the tunnel looks like for me.
Oof, that was really
I
good.
got chills.
Yes, yes, I love it. I love it. And when you were talking about, oh, your husband is amazing and God gave you what you need and he's a great father, I was like, thank you, Lord. You blessed me too. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
Same.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
And when you said your husband was down with the shenanigans, I'm like, Lord, he's not the not the only one. Yes. God is good.
All
That's
the
how
time.
you know if he'll do it for all three of us.
Yes.
Mom, if you are watching, whoever is watching, mothers, just know that your day is coming if you don't already have him. Whatever it is that you're going through, God is right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make
Yeah.
your request known.
Yes.
Yes. This that hope at the end of the tunnel. But what you said, right? He is walking with you through the tunnel.
Mhm.
Yes, absolutely. This has been amazing. Thank you so much for the gems
Thank
that
you.
you have dropped,
Yes.
for being a light, showing
Yes.
up and shining. Yes, please
So
do
bright.
not ever dim your light. This has been awesome. I have walked away with so much joy. I am sure you can relate. Listeners, as always, we ask that when you watch, y'all are doing amazing. I love to give a shout out to our YouTube crew because y'all are dropping the takeaways when you watch. It is amazing.
Yes.
I love to go back and thank you for tuning in and sharing your takeaways. So make sure when you watch, you drop your takeaway from the episode. Make sure you go and connect with Miss Andrea. Go and purchase her book. I have it. It is amazing. So many great gems. Follow her on social media. Join the Show Up and Shine crew. Promise.
Yeah.
Yes. Wake up and check out her lives in the morning. It's a great way to start your day. Make sure you connect with us on social media. We have some amazing episodes on the way. You will be inspired and you will be motivated to know that there is hope while you walk through the tunnel and hope at the end of the tunnel. Until next time, y'all take care.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.